Welcome back to Pocket Change Coins. You won't believe the rare and valuable US coins still hiding in everyday pocket change. Some are worth a fortune. If you're into finding real money in unexpected places, make sure to like and subscribe for more surprising coin discoveries. Let's dive right in. First, we're talking about the legendary United States Mercury 1 dime coin from 1937, a coin not only packed with history, but also carrying a rare collector's value that has stunned experts and auction houses around the world. If you're a collector, a history lover, or someone who just enjoys the thrill of discovering hidden treasures, then you're in for something truly special. Because this 1937 Mercury dime is not just another coin, it's a piece of art, a slice of American legacy, and for a lucky few, a gateway to life-changing fortune. Let's begin by taking a closer look at this iconic dime. The Mercury dime, officially known as the Winged Liberty Head dime, was minted from 1916 to 1945. Designed by Adolf Weinman, it features a beautiful portrait of Liberty wearing a winged cap, symbolizing freedom of thought. Many mistake it for the Roman god Mercury, which is how it got its popular nickname. On the reverse, you'll find a fasces, an ancient symbol of unity and strength, along with an olive branch representing peace. These powerful symbols make the Mercury dime one of the most artistically admired coins in American history. Now, the 1937 Mercury dime may seem like just another part of this famous series. Millions were minted that year, with coins struck at Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. But what makes some of these coins rare and extremely valuable are a series of unexpected and striking mint errors that collectors are now obsessively chasing. One of the most valuable and thrilling errors seen on the 1937 Mercury dime is the double die obverse. This occurs when the coin die strikes the planchet more than once in a slightly off position. It creates a shadow or doubling effect on the lettering, particularly in Liberty, In God We Trust, and the date, 1937. When this doubling is bold and visible, and the coin is in great condition, the value can soar astronomically. Another error to watch for is the off-center strike, where the design is misaligned during minting. This produces a coin that looks like it was punched off balance, with one part of the design shifted or partially missing. Collectors love these errors, especially if the date and main features are still visible. The more dramatic the off-center strike, the higher the price a collector will pay. Then there's the full bands designation, which is one of the key indicators of quality and value in Mercury dimes. On the reverse of the coin, the fasces is held together with horizontal bands. When these bands are fully struck and show sharp detail without wear, grading companies will mark the coin as full bands, or FB. This tiny detail can make an ordinary dime far more desirable, and far more expensive. Other notable rarities in 1937 Mercury dimes include clipped planchets, broad strikes, and lamination errors. Clipped planchets have a noticeable chunk missing from the coin's edge due to a misfeed in the blanking machine. Broad strikes occur when the collar fails during minting, allowing the coin to spread out wider than normal. Lamination errors happen when the metal surface of the coin begins to peel or flake due to impurities in the alloy. These errors are all considered mint-made mistakes and significantly increase collector interest and value. So, how can you identify a rare and valuable 1937 Mercury dime? First, start by examining the date and mint mark. Look for any signs of doubling, especially around the letters and numbers. Inspect the bands on the fasces on the reverse. If they are sharp and complete, you may have a full band specimen. Check the edges of the coin for any unusual clips or curves, and if the design looks off-center or oddly shaped, take note. Weight, luster, and sharpness of detail all play into value, so the better preserved your coin, the better your chances. To truly know what you have, it's best to get the coin authenticated and graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC. Not only will they confirm any errors, but their grading scale can place your coin in a specific value range, crucial when buying, selling, or auctioning. Speaking of auctions, here's the moment that shocked collectors everywhere. A 1937 Mercury dime, featuring a dramatic mint error, gorgeous surfaces, and pristine full bands detail, was recently offered at a major auction. The competition was fierce. Bidders from around the world vied for a piece of numismatic perfection. And when the hammer finally dropped, the coin sold for a mind-blowing sum that left the room stunned. This coin, a simple Mercury dime from 1937, was sold for an astonishing $135,000, yes, one dime. 10 cents. Worth $135,000. That's the magic of rare coins. And that's why collectors are constantly on the hunt, because you never know what treasure you might already own. Have you ever looked closely at your Mercury dimes? Have you found any with odd features, strong bands, or signs of doubling? We want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and share your finds or questions. This community is built for people just like you, coin lovers, treasure hunters, and curious minds who believe that sometimes, the smallest things hold the greatest value. Second rare coin. Have you ever looked at a tiny dime and wondered if it could secretly be worth a fortune? What if I told you that one of the last Mercury dimes ever minted, the 1945 Mercury 1 dime coin, has been known to reach six-figure values at auctions? That's right, a small silver coin that once slipped through the hands of millions of Americans during the final days of World War II now stands as one of the most desired pieces in the world of coin collecting. And today, we're diving deep into what makes the 1945 Mercury dime so special, so rare, and in some cases, so incredibly valuable. The Mercury dime, officially known as the Winged Liberty Head dime, was struck by the United States Mint from 1916 through 1945. The coin's design by sculptor Adolph A. Weinman features a stunning image of Liberty wearing a winged cap, symbolizing freedom of thought. It's often mistaken for the Roman god Mercury, which is how the coin got its popular nickname. On the reverse side, a fasces and olive branch represent both strength and peace, fitting symbols for a coin that would go out of circulation just as the world found peace after the Second World War. Now, the year 1945 is especially important. It was the final year the Mercury dime was produced before being replaced by the Roosevelt dime in 1946. And while millions of Mercury dimes were minted that year across Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, it's the small details and rare minting errors that separate a common dime from one that could make you rich. Let's begin with one of the most legendary rarities in the Mercury dime series, the 1945 S Micro S variety. On this particular coin, struck in San Francisco, the S mint mark appears unusually small, far smaller than typical. This was the result of the mint using an older, smaller punch for the mark. It may seem like a minor detail, but for collectors, it's everything. When paired with sharp strike detail, especially on the reverse where collectors look for full bands on the fasces, the value climbs dramatically. These full bands indicate a strong and even strike, showing complete separation in the horizontal bands tying the fasces. It's one of the most critical elements for grading Mercury dimes. Another extremely rare variety from 1945 involves die breaks or die cracks, where flaws in the minting die caused raised lines or ridges on the finished coin. These are not post-mint damage, they are mint-made errors that give the coin even more value due to their uniqueness. In some examples, these cracks appear prominently through Liberty's face or the lettering, creating truly one-of-a-kind pieces. Then there's the ever-exciting off-center strike, where the coin is struck while misaligned. Depending on how off-center it is, and whether the date is still visible, such coins can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Add in an error like a clipped planchet or a lamination flaw, and you're suddenly looking at a dime that serious collectors will fight over. So, how can you spot these treasures in your collection? First, locate any 1945 Mercury dimes you might have. Look closely at the mint mark. If it's an S and appears smaller than normal, you might have the famous Micro S variety. Then, examine the reverse under magnification. Are the bands across the fasces fully struck and separated? That could be your ticket to higher value. Also, scan the coin for cracks, raised lines, or irregular shapes on the rim, all signs of rare errors. Of course, condition is everything. Even the rarest coin loses value if it's heavily worn. Coins graded MS65 or higher, especially with full bands, are where the big money lies. If you think your coin fits the bill, it's worth sending it to a professional grading company like PCGS or NGC. Their authentication and grading can significantly increase your coin's marketability and value. Now let's talk about recent auction sales. One 1945 Mercury dime featuring the Micro S mint mark, certified at a nearly flawless MS68 with full bands designation, caused a stir in the numismatic world. Bidders recognized the rarity, the quality, and the historical importance of this final year Mercury dime. The bidding escalated quickly and concluded with an extraordinary sale that left collectors stunned. Yes, that tiny 1945 Mercury dime sold for an unbelievable $110,000, think about that. A coin that once bought a loaf of bread, or sat forgotten in a coin jar, is now valued at $110,000. That's the magic of numismatics. That's why collectors and treasure hunters are constantly checking their coins, because the next jackpot might already be in your pocket. If you've got a 1945 Mercury dime, or if you think you've spotted a Micro S or a full bands version, drop a comment below. We'd love to hear your stories, answer your questions, and help you explore the incredible world of rare coins. Who knows? Maybe your story will be the next big find in the collecting world. Third expensive coin, we're talking about the United States Barber 1 dime from 1894. This isn't just a coin, it's a ghost, a treasure, and a dream for collectors around the world. If you're a coin lover or someone who enjoys tales of hidden riches and numismatic mysteries, then stay with me. Because what you're about to discover might change the way you look at your pocket change forever. The Barber dime, named after its designer Charles E. Barber, was minted from 1892 to 1916. With a classic and bold design, it features Liberty wearing a laurel wreath on the obverse and a simple yet elegant wreath surrounding the words, 1 dime, on the reverse. But in the year 1894, something extremely unusual happened at the San Francisco Mint, an event that would make this particular year one of the most sought-after dates in all of American coinage. According to official records, only 24 Barber dimes were struck in 1894 at the San Francisco Mint. That's right, just 24. No one knows exactly why such a tiny number were produced. Some speculate it was a special strike for high-ranking officials or collectors. Others believe it was part of an accounting adjustment, or even a gift. But what makes the 1894 Barber dime even more intriguing is that only 9 to 12 of these coins are known to exist today. That extreme rarity is what places this coin into the realm of legend, and why even a single surviving specimen can cause a frenzy in the collecting world. But rarity alone isn't the whole story. The 1894 Barber dime is also known for its condition-sensitive nature. Every detail matters, whether the coin was circulated or remained untouched for over a century. Coins in high mint state, with no signs of wear, strong luster, and full details in Liberty's hair and the wreath on the reverse, command astronomical prices. Even a faint scratch or dull spot can change its value dramatically. There are no widely known minting errors associated with the 1894 Barber dime, because so few were ever made. But that's also what makes even minor differences between specimens extremely important. Slight variations in strike strength, luster, or original toning can make one coin far more desirable than another. And if, by some miracle, a previously unknown error or variant of this coin were ever discovered, it would instantly become a coin of historic importance. So how do collectors assess the value of this coin? It all starts with authenticity and provenance. Every 1894 Barber dime must be carefully examined, authenticated, and graded by professionals. Organizations like PCGS and NGC not only confirm the coin's authenticity but also trace its ownership history. Knowing which famous collection a coin once belonged to can sometimes boost its value even higher. Now, let's talk about auctions. Every time an 1894 Barber dime comes up for sale, it makes headlines, and for good reason. Collectors and investors from around the world line up to bid, and the prices continue to rise with each appearance. In recent years, examples of the 1894 dime in excellent condition have fetched unbelievable sums. And with demand continuing to grow, this tiny dime keeps making history again and again. And now, the moment you've been waiting for. One of the incredibly rare 1894 Barber 1-dime coins, in brilliant condition and fully authenticated, recently sold for a breathtaking $200,000, yes, you heard that right. A 10-cent coin, smaller than a bottle cap, worth $200,000. That's the kind of magic and mystery that makes numismatics so exciting, and why collectors all over the world dream of finding one of these coins in an old box, a family collection, or even an estate sale. So here's the big question: do you have any old Barber dimes from the 1890s? Have you ever come across a dime with the date 1894 and an S mint mark? If so, check it carefully, and don't rush to sell it. It could be one of the rarest coins in American history. And if you're not sure what you have, leave a comment below. Describe your coin, or even better, share a picture. We're here to help you uncover the secrets of your collection. Specially, we're talking about the United States Roosevelt 1-dime from 1991 with the P mint mark. You might think, that's just a common coin, right? Well, think again. Because this 1991 P dime, under the right conditions and with the right errors, has shocked collectors with how valuable it can be. And in some cases, it has been known to reach mind-blowing prices. The Roosevelt dime has been a staple of U.S. coinage since 1946, honoring President Franklin D. Roosevelt after his passing. By 1991, millions of these dimes were being produced at the Philadelphia Mint, denoted by the small P mint mark on the obverse just above the date. But like with many coins, it's not just about how many were made, it's about the mistakes, the unusual features, and the perfect conditions that make a few stand out as priceless treasures. Now, let's talk about what makes the 1991 P Roosevelt dime so special. While most of these coins are worth face value, a small number were struck with rare and valuable mint errors that transform them from pocket change into high-value collectibles. One of the most sought-after errors in this year is the missing clad layer. Normally, modern dimes are made from a clad composition, copper sandwiched between layers of nickel. But in some rare cases, the nickel layer is missing on one side, revealing the pure copper underneath. These missing clad layer errors make the coin look like it has one copper-colored side and one normal side. They're rare, fascinating, and highly desirable among error collectors. Another striking error to look out for is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin blank, or planchet, is not properly aligned during minting, resulting in a design that is shifted to one side. The more dramatic the off-center strike, the more valuable the coin, especially if the date and mint mark are still visible. These kinds of misstrikes can turn an ordinary dime into a showstopper at auction. There are also double die errors, although more subtle in the 1991 series, they do exist. This occurs when the coin is struck more than once by a misaligned die, creating a ghost-like doubling effect in the lettering or numbers, especially on Liberty or In God We Trust. If you catch this error, you could be holding a very rare specimen. Other less common but still valuable errors include broad strikes, where the coin is struck without the collar and expands beyond its normal diameter, and clipped planchets, where a portion of the coin is missing due to a misfeed in the blanking press. Every one of these errors has the potential to multiply the value of a Roosevelt dime many times over, but let's not forget, condition is key. Even the rarest error won't fetch top dollar if it's scratched up or heavily worn. That's why mint state coins, especially those graded MS-65 or higher by professional services like PCGS or NGC, command the highest prices. Coins with strong detail, sharp edges, and their original luster preserved can dramatically increase in value. So how do you spot one of these rare 1991 P dimes? Start by checking the coin under a good light and using a magnifying glass. Look for color differences that may hint at a missing clad layer, check if the design is shifted or off-center, and examine the lettering for signs of doubling. If anything looks unusual, don't rush to sell it or clean it, send it in for professional grading and authentication. Now here's where it gets really exciting. A rare 1991 P Roosevelt dime, featuring a missing clad layer, near perfect mint condition, and certified by a top grading company, recently stunned the collector community when it sold at a prestigious auction. With its combination of rarity, eye appeal, and verified condition, it shattered expectations. That single dime, once worth only 10 cents, was purchased for a breathtaking $40,000, yes, $40,000. That's the kind of discovery that reminds us why coin collecting is more than just a hobby, it's a treasure hunt. So don't ignore those small coins. They may be tiny in size, but their stories, and their value, can be massive. If you think you found something special in your pocket change, or if you've come across a 1991 P. Roosevelt dime with strange coloring, off-center design, or bold doubling, let us know in the comments. Share your story, ask your questions, and join the community of collectors who know that even a dime can change your life. Last unique coin, we're talking about the United States Roosevelt 1 dime from 1975, a coin that not only carries historical weight but has stunned the coin collecting world with its jaw-dropping value. This isn't just a story about a coin, it's a hidden treasure, a once-in-a-lifetime find that could change your life if you're lucky enough to come across it. So listen very carefully, coin lovers, because this video might just send you digging through your old coin jars right after watching. The Roosevelt dime has been a staple of American currency since 1946, honoring President Franklin D. Roosevelt and his legacy. Designed by John R. Sinek, the dime features Roosevelt's left-facing profile on the obverse and a torch flanked by olive and oak branches on the reverse, symbols of liberty, peace, and strength. By 1975, this design was firmly established and billions of Roosevelt dimes had already been minted. But what happened that year created a true modern coin legend? You see, in preparation for the American bicentennial in 1976, the U.S. Mint was preparing special quarter, half-dollar, and dollar coin designs. But the dime was set to continue with its traditional design. While millions of 1975 dimes were produced at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, a mysterious error occurred, one that became so rare that it has sparked intense collector obsession for decades. We're talking about the 1975 Roosevelt dime with no mint mark, but not just any no mint mark dime. Because Philadelphia dimes from that year normally don't carry a mint mark. However, there were a very small number of proof dimes, yes, proof coins, struck with incredible detail and mirror-like finish, minted in San Francisco that somehow left the mint without the S mint mark that should have been there. These coins were mistakenly released in proof sets and are now considered one of the holy grails of modern U.S. coin collecting. Only 2 confirmed examples of the 1975 no-S proof Roosevelt dime have ever been discovered, and every time one comes up for auction, it causes a storm in the numismatic world. These are not circulation strikes. These are special proof coins, and the missing mint mark makes them spectacularly rare. It's the kind of minting error that makes collectors sit up, pay attention, and pull out their wallets, but it doesn't stop there. Even among circulation coins from 1975, collectors search for rare errors that can dramatically boost value. These include double die obverse coins, where the lettering and numbers, especially the date or liberty, show signs of doubling due to a misalignment in the striking dies. Another error to look for is an off-center strike, where part of the design is missing and shifted due to the coin blank being misfed. If the date is still visible on one of these, it's a serious prize. And don't overlook clipped planchets, die cracks, or broad strikes, all of which can elevate the value of even a worn coin from a few cents to several hundred, or even thousands, of dollars. Collectors and dealers alike know that condition is key. If you think you found a valuable Roosevelt dime from 1975, whether it's an error coin or just appears unusually well struck, don't clean it, don't scratch it, and definitely don't spend it. Get it graded and authenticated by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC. Coins that are preserved in mint state condition or have strong visual appeal can command significantly higher prices at auction. And speaking of auctions, one of the most iconic moments in modern numismatics happened when one of the 1975 no-S Roosevelt proof dimes was brought to the auction block. The room was electric. Collectors and institutions alike battled to own this once forgotten, now famous coin. The bidding climbed fast, and in the end, the coin sold for an eye-watering total that shocked even veteran collectors. That single 1975 Roosevelt dime, once worth just 10 cents, was sold for a staggering $90,000. Yes, you heard that right. $90,000. That's not a typo. That's the kind of real-world value that reminds us why collecting coins is more than just a hobby, it's a treasure hunt with life-changing potential. So now it's your turn. Do you have a 1975 Roosevelt dime? Have you ever spotted one without a mint mark in a proof set? Or do you have an unusual coin with doubling, off-center strike, or other strange features? Let us know in the comments. Describe what you found, and maybe your coin is the next big discovery. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit that bell so you don't miss any rare coin stories or exciting updates. Because in the world of coins, even a dime could be your ticket to fortune. Thanks for watching, and as always, happy hunting, and never underestimate the power of your pocket change.